All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Judge Kim Teresa Malika. You're in first appearance magistrate court. Today, you're going to be informed of the charges, and we're going to determine if there's probable cause. Today is not your trial day. Please do not talk about the facts of your case. Everything is being recorded. You have a right to remain silent. You also have a right to an attorney. We have Mr. Romero, who's at the main jail, and we have Mr. Reedy, who's here to my right in the main courtroom. If you have a private attorney, please let me know when you step up to the podium. At the jail's request, we're going to take a couple cases out of turn today. First case is Mr. Romero there?
Good morning, Judge.
Hi, I emailed you the list. Did you get it?
No, Judge, I'm sorry.
Okay. I told Sheila from confinement to start emailing it to you and Mr. Reedy every day, so you have it at least.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Okay. So page 10 of a docket is Roy Miller.
Judge, Mr. Miller is here present. He's approaching, and he declined the services of the public defender.
Thank you. State, you have an offer on this?
Good time served, Ron.
Okay, Mr. Miller, how are you today, sir?
Tired, but all right.
Okay. All right, sir. You are charged with one count of trespassing occupied structure or conveyance. Bond is set at $100. Apparently, and I don't want you talking about the facts of your case, you keep going back to the subway on Southeast 17th Street. So the court is going to find probable cause, sir, and order you not to return to the subway. Even if you have money and you want to go there and buy a sandwich, don't go to the subway at 819 Southeast 17th Street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. What I did was I went next door and Dunkin' Donuts and bought
All right,
coffee.
sir, don't talk about
Okay.
the facts of the case, okay?
Yeah.
You can't go there. Don't go anywhere near that store, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, here's the other thing. If you want to resolve your case today, you can resolve it. The court will give you time served. If you don't have a place to live, the court can have you transported to Henderson, the voluntary program. You can take a shower, get cleaned up, they'll feed you something, and they'll try to find you housing assistance. Is that something, it's completely voluntary, you can leave anytime. Is that something you'd be interested in? They transport you over there.
No, I'm gonna go to 13th and Anderson and try VA housing.
All right, but you understand, sir, what happens if you go back to that subway?
I'm not going back there.
Okay, but what happens if you do? You're gonna get arrested, you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you wanna resolve your case today, or you want a trial?
No, I want to resolve it.
You sure?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just wanna make sure that you're not admitting to the charge, because you can't bond out. So if you want to admit to the charge, we can resolve it today, you'll be done with your
Yes.
case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand, do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. Is your name Roy William Miller, Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with trespassing occupied structure or conveyance. Do you want to waive your right to a trial, or you want to plead no contest or guilty?
No contest.
Oh, I guess it's.
You doing this freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand what's going on here today? You're not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
All right, ever been treated for a mental illness?
Yeah.
Okay, does your mental illness, don't tell me what it is, affect your ability to understand what's going on here today, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, listen to the question, sir. Does your mental illness affect your ability to understand what's going on here today?
No.
Okay. You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea to this charge can result in deportation proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Understanding what I just explained to you, you want to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
To trespassing occupied structure or conveyance? No contest?
Yeah.
All right. You understand that you can't go back to the subway at 819 Southeast 17th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Adjudication, time served. Court's going to accept your plea. It's freely and voluntarily. Court's reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Court's going to order $293 in court costs. Adjudication time served. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. You're done with this case, sir. Thank you, except for paying your $293. Good luck. Eric Roy Hinkle,
Mr. Hinkle,
page
come on
11.
up, sir. He's approaching, Judge, and this is a municipal ordinance case.
Oh, this is a McLaurin's case? Yep. So we'll have to recall for Mr. McLaurin's. Is he there yet?
No, Judge, he didn't arrive here.
All right, when he arrives, have him speak to Mr. Hinkle, because I just want to get these people off this list. So, Mr. Hinkle.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're gonna have to wait for Mr. McLaurin's. He's an attorney for the city of Fort Lauderdale, or not for the city, he handles city of Fort Lauderdale cases. So he's basically your special public defender, okay?
Yes.
All right, so have a seat. As soon as he gets there, you can talk to him. Walter Lewis Williams, page 15 of the docket.
He's approaching, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Williams, how are you this morning, sir?
Bad.
All right, sir, you have a battery on an officer, firefighter, EMT. We need to talk about bond. And then count 2, you have a resisting an officer or obstructing without violence. There's no bond attached to that. It's basically an ROR. Court is going to find probable cause. State, what's your recommendation as to bond and any special conditions?
Your Honor, I'll be requesting a $1,000 bond. He just had a disorderly conduct from late March of this year.
How much of a bond? I'm sorry, I was moving.
1,000.
Okay.
Another disorderly conduct from late January of this year. Resisting without violence, disorderly conduct, December of last year, and resisting without violence and trespass from December of last year.
Did you say he had any felonies, prior felonies?
I'd have to check. Getting hits from other states, so I'd have to check to see.
Says he was born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, he was. While I'm looking, he was arrested June of last year on a failure to appear in Nebraska.
But then it has Florida birthplace on the PC, so.
Another failure to appear in 2016 in Nebraska, making false report. Your Honor, when he was arrested, one moment, he was arrested early this month. May 5th, on failures to appear for MOs and state charge disorderly conduct. He posted a $700 bond.
All right, defense, $1,000 bond, your response.
At this time, that's reasonable, Judge. We'd ask you to set a $1,000 bond.
Okay, $1,000 bond it is. Sir, is your address 1217 Southwest 3rd Street, Pompano?
Yes. Oh, no, it's Dania Beach. Dania.
It's not Pompano Beach?
No. Dania Beach.
Judge, also, we're going to be requesting a photo order.
All right, I'll grant your request for a photo order. What's your zip code, sir, where you are?
33004.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, if you could change, it has Pompano Beach, Florida, and the wrong zip code, okay? Thank you. Okay, next one is Jeffrey Feathers, which is page 19 of the docket.
He's approaching, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Feathers, good morning, sir. You have possession of cocaine, $1,000 bond. Count 2, possession of fentanyl, $1,000 bond. Count 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, sir, are probation violations. You're going to be held no bond. You are going before your division judge, Judge Tim Bailey, on May 29th, which is this coming Tuesday, sir, at 9 a.m. Court does find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard?
No, Judge, considering has no bond hold.
Okay, $999 on counts 1 and 2 each. Thank you very much. Good luck to you. Next one is going to be Brandori Nottage. That's page 19 of a docket. I'm sorry, 20.
Mr. Nottage is here.
Page 20, Mr. Romero.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Mr. Nottage, you have possession of alprazolam, also known as Xanax, $1,000 bond. Possession of heroin, $1,000 bond. Possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less, $100 bond. And count 4 is a probation violation, sir, where you're going to be held no bond. You are going before your division judge, Judge Elizabeth Shear, on June 4th, which is a week from this Monday at 8:45 a.m. The court does find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard?
Judge, considering he has a no bond hold on the probation, I guess the only thing I'll be asking on count 3, the cannabis, if you could do a $1 bond.
Sure, $9.99 on counts 1 and count 2, $1 on count 3.
Thank you, Judge.
June 4th, sir. Good luck to you. Next one is Hector Ricardo Muriel, page 22 of the docket.
He's approaching, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Muriel. How are you today?
I've been better, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, sir, you have aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. We need to talk about bond. The court does find probable cause. The court's going to order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in this case with the initials RM. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that means no contact, and I want everybody to listen up. No contact, direct or indirect, means no contact in person, calling, texting, writing, anything through social media, not liking, disliking anything, and no contact through third parties. Of course, that does not include your attorneys contacting the alleged victim in the case. So, do you understand that, sir?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, let me just look at the facts. Give me one moment. All right, so do you still have stuff at 916 North Victoria Park Road?
He does, Judge.
All right, so State, what's your recommendation for Mr. Muriel picking up his stuff?
Your Honor, I don't have a problem if he's, one time with a uniformed law enforcement officer. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so you're gonna have to pick it up in one time, okay?
I also have a pet.
Okay, you can pick up your pet, okay? But you have to return with a law enforcement officer.
Understand.
Okay,
Mr. Muriel was placed on pretrial supervision on February 23rd of this year by this court in case 18-1846 CF10A,
for what?
1 count of grand theft auto,
Okay.
1 count of resisting without violence, and 1 count of driving while license is suspended. Based on this court's finding of probable cause, we're going to ask that his pretrial status be
All right, may I
revoked.
see it? We have to do the detox first.
Okay, Your Honor, just so everyone's aware though, Mr. Harris's girlfriend has a scheduled C-section today. That's doctor ordered. So I'd like to call it up as soon as we get a chance.
And I'll call Mr. Wiener. I'm sure he'll be able to make it. I just didn't want to have him come down until I heard from the court that if you're going to call it out, because you had said we'll hear it at 9:30.
Okay, let's go off the record for a moment. All right, so I have this. So State, what's your recommendation for bond on count 1?
Your Honor, considering that he's out on another felony, the level of violence, and I would also just note, there is a witness that corroborates the alleged victim's version of events. I'd be requesting a $10,000 bond.
It does appear to be a mutual combat type of situation, though, Judge. I understand picking up the glass from the broken microwave, but when you're in a fight, those are the kind of things that happen. And I think that when everything kind of straddles itself out here, it's going to look very much like a mutual combat scenario.
Your Honor, just because Mr. Reedy calls it that, that's not what the facts allege. The facts allege that the victim went outside. Mr. Muriel followed him outside, proceeded to attack him, at which point the alleged victim defends himself, at which point Mr. Muriel gets on top of him, then grabs the piece of glass in the microwave and cuts his hand. The witness corroborates that. This was not a mutual combat.
Well, neither Mr. Lender or I were there, Judge, so, and neither were you, Your Honor. So, when things work themselves out, there's no indication here as to what time was elapsed or how much time it was before Mr. Muriel went out back
get it.
outside. So it's not a clear cut.
Okay, let him finish and see what else.
Oh,
he
I'm
wants,
sorry.
and then I'll-
I thought he was
that's
finished.
fine. Are you finished?
I was just saying, you're right, neither one of us there. I'm just asking the court to go by what's on paper. That's
All
all.
right, go ahead, Mr. Do you want to say something, and then I'll give Mr. Romero a chance?
I think I've said everything I want to say, Judge. Again, we weren't there. We don't know what happened. It's a fight between two people, and when the winner goes to jail and the loser goes to the hospital, as with most fights.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Romero. Tell me what he can afford and anything you want to add.
Judge, like my colleague stated, basically, things will pan themselves out at trial. Mr. Muriel is 29 years old at this time. I believe where it happened, that's where it was living. I mean, that's where the allegations happened, at his apartment. The lease is under his name. Out of the goodness of his heart, he let those two individuals that were homeless stay at his residence. Judge, at this time, he is working. He works for a remodeling company. He's been there for about 4 months now. He pays the sole expenses of the apartment, the rent, the electric, the water. So the total expenses, I believe, is about $850 per month. So at the end of the month, he has no financial resources left. He's going to be contacting his sister. Actually, he gave me the phone number of his sister. I'm going to be calling her on his behalf. He believes that maybe through a bondsman she can come up with $200. So we'd be asking you to consider a $2,000 bond on Mr. Muriel's behalf, and we'd be asking you to sign an order allowing us to photograph the injuries that Mr. Muriel sustained defending himself, Judge.
All right, court will grant your photo order. Let me ask you a question. Where is he going to live?
Well, fortunately, we were talking about that at the remodeling company he works at. He's going to be contacting his employer and seeing if he can stay with his employer. Even though it seems unfair, the apartment's in his name and everything like that. Those two gentlemen do not pay rent there. That's when things escalated. So there is two sides to this story, Judge. But I did inform him that the court's going to have to order no contact, or is going to order no contact. And if he goes to the premises and they're there, he's going to get rearrested. So he does not want to risk violating court order. So that's why he's going to reach out to his employer and see if he can stay with him.
All right, was he on GPS level 2? All right, he's going to have to find a place to live. That's going to be his problem. So I'm going to do GPS level 2. Court is going to do a $2,500 bond on count 1, and on 18607-9 CF10A, court is going to revoke his pretrial. However, the court's going to do GPS level 2 on that one, and do we have bonds on these?
That was an ROR to pretrial GPS
Okay,
on these
we're
other
gonna
cases.
do 500 on one, the resisting will do 100, and the driving while license suspended or revoked will do 100 as well. Okay? Thank you very much, sir. Good luck to you. Need to Hector,
Yes, Judge.
he needs to update his address because I have the Victoria Park. So he's not gonna be getting, he's not gonna be getting the address in the mail. So, sir, you can go to browardclerk.org. Mr. Romero will explain it to you, okay? All right, Nathan Lee Cole, page 23 of the docket. Thanks for coming back. We have one more after this, okay?
And, Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask if the detective's coming in on this case. I believe well,
Do you know when he's coming? Should we
he
reset
told
it
me
for the afternoon
no,
is what I'm
he'll be
asking?
here about 9 a.m.
All right, so we'll recall for the detective. And then we have Mitchell J. Welt. That is, W-E-L-T, page 23 of the docket.
23, Judge?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 24. My bad.
24. Mr. Welk, come on up, please. Judge, Mr. Welk, at Maine, and he declined to serve as public defender.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Welt. You have possession of Xanax, alprazolam, $1,000 bond, sir. You have possession of oxycodone, which is also known as Percocan or Percocet, $1,000 bond. You also have count 3, which is disobeying or avoid a red light camera. It's actually a civil traffic infraction. It's not for magistrate, but I just wanted to tell you, you have to, take care of that as well. So it's a total of $2,000 bond. The court does find probable cause. Can you afford the $2,000 bond, sir?
Yes,
All right, who's gonna pay that for you?
my mother.
All right, are you gonna if you can't get in touch with your mother, then, you're gonna have to somehow. I'll write your name down, sir. And, I'll keep in touch, I'll keep up on your case, okay? Since you represent
Okay.
yourself, and I'll make sure that, you bond out in the next couple of days.
All right,
The other thing is, I need to verify your mailing address, so I know you get court notice. It's 2324 Northwest 94th Ave, Coral Springs, Florida.
correct.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Willie, can you make me a copy of this? All right, and then we're gonna call, what case are you here on?
The attorney is
Where's the
not
attorney?
present now, Your Honor.
Oh, where's the attorney?
Judge, while we're waiting, the jail just called on Nathan Cole and said he needs to be reset till tomorrow.
Oh,
Nathan Cole,
I will.
the one you was waiting on the, detective to come in, he needs to
is there a
be
Nathan
reset.
Cole there? Did they take him
He
back?
took him back.
I'll call the detective.
All right, what's going, hold on, let's go. Okay, we need to call another case out of turn. That's for me. Here is. And his pet. Yeah, I wanna make sure we put that on there. You're on the Harris case, right?
Yes, Your Honor, good morning. Adam Goodman on his behalf.
Okay, give me one moment, let me just refresh my memory on this one. Page 20 of the docket. Can we have Sean Michael Harris, please? Good morning, sir, how are you?
Good morning, how are you?
Good. Give me one moment to refresh my memory. All right, Mr. Harris, you are charged with count one, reckless driving, damage person or property, $100 bond, same for count two. However, count three is vehicular homicide, person or viable fetus. We need to talk about bond. Court does find probable cause.
In Your Honor,
Yes.
I would, before I know the court just stated that they find a probable cause finding. Having said that, if I could very briefly make an argument, but
Sure,
from reading this
go ahead.
probable cause affidavit, my concern is that while this is an extremely sad case, I know a little bit about it, I
All
saw.
right, sir, can you hit the mute button
Mr. Harris, can you hit the mute button on the mic?
right in front of you? Thank you. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I hear you.
That's
So I
fine.
was getting feedback.
My wife wishes she had the mute button as well. So.
Okay, I'm sure.
Yes. So with regard to this case, the concern that I have is that I don't believe that there actually is probable cause. I understand that there is a deceased, but having said that, it's been well established in case law in the state of Florida that speed alone is not enough to bring a prima facie case of vehicular homicide, because you have to prove that reckless driving that's reckless and someone died, and reckless driving requires that the driver drove in a manner that was likely to cause death or serious bodily injury. And I just got the probable cause affidavit this morning, so I didn't have the exact facts, and I wanted to read it before I did any research. But just very quickly from looking, I could cite to House v. State 831 Southern 2nd 130 that specifically states speed alone will not support a charge of vehicular homicide, and that's all this alleges is speed. This doesn't allege anything else. This alleges that Mr. Harris let people go through the intersection, and that the scooter, which this is at night, and a scooter is not a very large means of transportation, was struck and T-boned. So at that point, when all you have is speed, that's not going to be enough to bring this case forward. Now, the state of Florida has already made the decision, because this is an investigation. This didn't happen last night. This happened earlier this year. So they've made their investigation. They've made their decision. I don't think that's proper. When I saw this case, I was of the impression this might be a careless driving with a fatality because there was an accident and someone died. But there is definitely not a wanton disregard for human safety. The case law is very specific on this issue, Your Honor. So with regard to that, I know the court did find probable cause, but when we get to an issue of bond, I'm almost, it's difficult to even say, but this should be a release on his own recognizance, because the fact is they're not gonna, they present pictures from the body cam that shows unfortunate deceased, and I think they're just using that to, I guess, gain the passion of the court. We all know that someone unfortunately died, and I know the facts about the victim. It's gonna be an extremely sad case. She's a mother of 5. It's super sad. I got very sad when I heard about this case myself. But having said that, from being on the traffic homicide unit at a prosecutor's office, this is not a case that should have been filed. And with regard to that, that's unfortunate. But we are here, and Mr. Harris has strong ties to the community. He's having twins today. He's a student at Florida Atlantic University. He works at Publix. He's the sole provider for the family. He's a lifelong resident of South Florida. When this case happened, he didn't flee the scene. Even though the arrest affidavit doesn't note it, he performed field sobriety exercises. They released him from the scene. He stayed in South Florida. He has not fled the jurisdiction, and he is going to answer to the charges. So I don't believe at this point that there's any basis to set really a bond. I think he should be released on his own recognizance, but that is where we are at today. He meets all the criteria of someone who should be getting released, and unfortunately, no matter what the bond situation is, I don't think he's going to make it to the C-section for the birth of his twins, and these are his first 2 kids. That was scheduled for today. I've asked her if she could reschedule it, but that's one of those situations where I don't think you really get a choice. So that is where we were at.
Let me ask you a question. It says here that the CDR, which is the crash data retrieval
Yes.
system, shows that the suspect was traveling in excess of 90 miles per hour, but then it goes on to say that it indicates that he was traveling at 120 miles an hour.
I think that would tend to indicate that this was something that they might not have seen the person driving into the intersection. Again, it says that they let the cars pass and then he ended up into the intersection, meaning that he saw it at the last second and might have tried to pump the brakes. But again, the case law is very clear. There has to be something more than speed. So we're talking about a curvy road. You're in a vehicle that I'm looking at. I mean, again, I did a very quick case law research, but you're driving a dangerous vehicle such as a truck handling gallons of gasoline, things that you know would be excessive. But that's the reason why if you got caught speeding in Broward County or any county in the state of Florida and you were driving 120, 130 miles an hour, they'd be citing you for speeding. It's not a crime. And usually if it's reckless and you're committing some sort of additional factor, then that would go that one step further. But that's not a crime to be speeding in the state of Florida. It's an infraction. And an infraction with a death would be a careless driving with an accident. And that is what the problem we have here. So, I mean, the state can make their argument, which I know they will. I'm sure it will be a very nice argument. I just think that the factors we have here do not lead enough to vehicular homicide. And I definitely think we're at the point right now where I'm just asking for him to be released. I don't think he's a flight. I know he's not a flight risk. And I know that there's factors, and this is mitigating.
All right, let's talk about bond and release conditions. Let's just keep to the probable
Okay.
cause. I'll give you opportunity. It also says here the force of the impact ejected both of the occupants of vehicle 2.
Yes.
All right, what say you, State?
Your Honor, good morning. Ross Weiner on behalf of the state. Your Honor, may I show you the
morning.
photos that counsel was referring to?
Sure. Have you seen these, sir?
I did. I mean, I think they just show that an accident occurred that we all know about. I don't think there's anything to indicate anything reckless other than a truck hit a scooter.
Okay,
Your Honor, for the court to determine bond, one of the factors the court has to determine under Florida Statute 903.046 are the nature and circumstances of the offenses charged and the weight of the evidence against the defendant. The evidence in this case shows that on April 7, 2018 at 12:01 a.m., the defendant was driving eastbound on Commercial Boulevard. The EDR, or the CDR as the court referred to, registered that the defendant was driving at a speed reaching 120 miles per hour. At the same time as the defendant was driving east on Commercial, a motorcycle or motor scooter was being driven by the victim and his passenger. The scooter began to make a left turn and was struck by the defendant. The crash was so violent that the driver and passenger of the motorcycle were ejected. The driver suffered a fractured leg. The passenger died as a result. The black box also showed that at the time of the crash, the defendant was driving at 106 miles per hour, and he didn't even attempt to brake until less than 1 second before the crash. One of the other factors the court has to consider is the defendant's past and present conduct. The defendant's
I wanted to keep to the probable cause argument.
Oh, just probable cause, okay.
Yeah, at this
So,
time, if you
Your
could
Honor,
do that.
as to probable cause, counsel cited to cases, I can cite to a different case law, Your Honor. Lewick v. State, Lewek, 702 Southern 2nd, 527. It's a 4th DCA case from 1997. Finding evidence was sufficient to establish reckless driving where a defendant drove a car with shallow tire treads, a missing lug nut, and window tinting that was too dark at 60 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. Then we have Bird v. State, which is at 531 Southern 2nd, 1004. It's a 5th DCA case from 1988. Sufficient evidence to sustain a conviction for vehicular homicide where the defendant drove at twice the posted speed limit. Again, that's to sustain a conviction, so probable cause is a much lower standard. There's plenty of case law on point. If counsel's saying he worked in a traffic homicide unit, I'm sure he's aware of the case law that just for reckless driving, speed alone can be sufficient for reckless driving when it's excessive speed. And when someone is driving more than twice the speed limit, it's a 45 mile per hour speed limit. If he's driving 120 miles per hour, that's more than double the speed limit. So that alone could be considered reckless driving. If there wasn't even a crash in this case, if he was just caught speeding at that speed, he could be charged with and convicted of reckless driving. The case law is replete with cases on convictions for reckless driving. So as far as the probable cause, the state has clearly shown there's probable cause in this case.
All right, the court is gonna find probable cause, so let's get to bond. What are you asking for, sir?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. One of the other factors the court has to consider is the defendant's past and present conduct. His driving record shows that in 2009, he was cited for speeding in St. Lucie County, 88 and 70. He was cited in 2009.
Was that on 95 or a side street?
That was,
Or a regular,
I think that was a highway in St. Lucie County, Your Honor.
Okay,
And then in 2009 and in 2011, he was cited twice for violating the high occupancy lane, the HOV lane. In 2015, again on a highway, he was cited in Broward County for going 90 and a 65. He was involved in a crash in 2015. In 2016, he was cited for speeding in Broward County, going 76 and a 45. Based upon the factors enumerated in 903.046, the state's seeking on count 1, Your Honor, that the court set bond at $15,000, count 2, $15,000, count 3, $100,000. For all counts, the state's asking for the following special conditions: pretrial level 1 with a GPS monitor, no drugs or alcohol with random testing once per week, that the court order the defendant not to drive or get behind the wheel of any vehicle, that the defendant surrender any passport in his possession and not apply for a new passport, that the surrender take place prior to his release, and that the defendant not leave Broward County.
what's the maximum penalty on the vehicular homicide, 15 years?
It's 15 years, Your Honor, and
Is there a minimum mandatory on
there
it?
is no minimum mandatory under the statute. However, the guidelines call for between a 9 and 10 year minimum sentence under the guidelines.
Okay. 9 and 10 years,
Correct.
And Your Honor, if I may respond,
sure.
I think the bond that the state is requesting was somewhat comical in the sense that, first of all, the cases they cited to always had an extra factor. Tint, lug nuts, we don't have that here. So I just want the court to be clear. With regard to that, they're asking for the nature of the offense and the charge. It's a second-degree felony. It's no different, unfortunately, than a grand theft second degree. It's no different than a sale of cocaine. It's a second-degree felony. There's no minimum mandatories. Some of those second-degree felonies do have minimum mandatories. So we're in a situation where we're at a case where a court could use its discretion, the state could use its discretion. Those guidelines could always be waived or mitigated. So it's not one of those situations. With regard to the things that the state is asking for, it's going such a beyond the reach of what this case is. First, not even in the dollar amount, to just show where their mindset is. No drugs or alcohol. There is no drugs or alcohol even alleged in this case. Now, I don't have a problem with that personally because people shouldn't be taking drugs. But having said that, there's no allegations that drugs or alcohol are involved with this case. So the fact that they're asking for that is an overreach. They're asking for a surrender of a passport. Again, per se, I don't have a problem. But it's what the state should be aware that the passport is not actually owned by a person. It's owned by the United States government that we get to just use and we hold. So unless this court has permission to order the federal government to surrender their property to the clerk of courts, I think that's kind of ridiculous. It's issued by the federal government that you get to hold. But it is the property of the federal government. With regard to his record, the state failed to even note if those were convictions or anything. They said he got cited. He might have the best driving record in this entire courthouse, in this courtroom right now. He's got a better driving record than myself. 4 or 5 tickets, and he's in his mid-20s in South Florida. That's an all-star driver. So they were citing to being in the high occupancy lane. I don't even know if these were convictions. They just said that he got cited. So to me, it kind of might indicate that these cases were dismissed. I think the fact of the matter is, Your Honor, I think the $100 bond on counts 1 and 2 that were standard are reasonable. I think count 3, the court should set maybe a $10,000. If the court's going to set a monetary bond, I'd ask for maybe a $10,000 bond. I don't think the fact that he should surrender his driver's license at this point, his license, there's not a mandatory suspension like on a DUI where you refuse, where it's a mandatory suspension. He is working. As the court could see, he's going to be the sole provider for twins today. He does have a job at Publix. He's a student at Florida Atlantic University, which is actually not even in Broward County. That's in Palm Beach County. So what the state is asking for him is to stop his education, stop his job, become unemployable, and sit there and do nothing through the course of this case, where it's not a strong case. We're debating this at bond court. This is only going to get worse, I believe, for the state of Florida. So the purpose of bond is to see, will he appear and will he answer to the charges? And he's going to do so.
It's also to protect the community.
Correct. And I don't think
That's an issue.
And this was just, again, Your Honor, I understand that, but I don't think the difference of a $10,000 bond or a $100,000 bond will change any difference towards protecting the community. This is someone who I believe is a productive member of society, productive member of the community, has no criminal record whatsoever, and he was involved in an accident. And right now, Your Honor, we're just asking for a bond to be set that's reasonable, that bondsman will ensure his appearance and will protect the community. The dollar amount's not gonna change if the community is protected. It's a difference of if the family has $10,000 right now, or if they have $1,000 and they could fight the charges when there is clearly issues with this case right off the bat. There's gonna be case law that I cite, that the state cites. It's gonna go back and forth. This is not so clear cut. There's not, if this was an Arthur hearing type case, we wouldn't hit that standard. This is not a very strong case, Your Honor, so I think the court needs to take that into account as well. And again, I'm very sorry to the family of the deceased in this case, but we can't set such a high bond that he's just forced to sit in jail fighting charges that are not particularly strong. And that's why, Your Honor, I think if we set a $10,000 bond on count one, on count three, $100 bond on count one, $100 bond on count two, he could still go to work, he could still handle his case, and he will appear in court, and that's where we're at right now, Your Honor. I don't think that number, other than it sounds great, of $100,000 is arbitrary. I don't see where they get that from, other than it sounds good.
Your Honor, just so the record's clear, all of those were convictions, either adjudications withheld for the speeding or adjudicated for the HOV lane.
Well,
Hold
withhold
on,
is not a
just give me one
conviction.
moment. Hello, this is Judge. Sorry, that was Judge Bailey's. JA, I had to take that.
As the state just said, they said these are the convictions, but these were withholds, so they're not even convictions. I don't know if this, the state needs to cite two convictions, but these are withholds of adjudication. So he's not even, no points on his license, nothing, as far as we know. This is just an accident. And so, there by the grace of God, a lot of people are not there. He is here, unfortunately, on probably the worst day, because he's supposed to have his two kids being born today. So we are simply asking, Your Honor, a $10,000 bond on count three, $100 bond on count one, $100 bond on count two. He'll appear in court. That's why I hired counsel. That's why I didn't flee the jurisdiction when the case happened back then. If this was such a situation, he could have easily have left the country at any point. He's got two incentives right away to stay local. I mean, they're coming today. So,
All right, let me ask you a couple questions.
sure.
Tell me about your client. Did he turn himself in? Was he advised that he needed to surrender himself, or they just came and picked him up? Tell me about his ability to pay and what he does for a living.
Well, Your Honor,
I could answer that question about the surrender, Your Honor.
All right, I'm asking him and then you can respond, okay? Thank you.
my understanding was at the scene they let him go, and usually with traffic homicide cases, he was not represented until last night, until after he was
Okay.
arrested. So I don't think this was a situation where he was ever called and said, "Hey, turn yourself in." I think it was a situation that a lot of traffic homicides occur. They do their investigation and due diligence. Ultimately, this was dropped, and they picked him up. So I
But
don't.
they were investigating the case and he knew it.
Well, I mean, he did know because there was a crash and police officers came, but there's nowhere for him to go. He can't go and just say, "Hey, arrest me." They did their investigation on
No,
scene.
I'm talking since April 7th. Did he know that there was an investigation going on?
Well, I believe he knew there was an investigation since the accident happened.
Okay.
Because what happens is when a police officer show up on scene and someone dies, I think a relatively intelligent person will be, I probably need to talk to an attorney or figure out what's going on with the case. I don't think, even if he knew the investigation was going on, there's no way for him to know, hey, should I call the police and say, hey, did you drop a warrant yet? Did you drop a warrant yet? Did you drop a warrant yet? He didn't have counsel. If he had counsel at that point during this investigation, he could have obviously called and said, hey, if you guys are going to do an arrest or you want to do a surrender, he could do so. But that didn't happen. I don't think that's anyone's fault. That doesn't show anything by Mr. Harris. I believe he's just starting his job at Publix in the warehouse. So as far as ability to pay, I don't believe Publix pays extremely high salaries. I know they pay obviously more than minimum wage, but I wouldn't expect it to be a very high-paying job. And he is the sole provider for the family. So with regard to that, when me saying a $10,000 bond, I think that's still kind of high, but that's something that would be reasonable, that would give enough oomph to a bondsman to say, hey, show up.
How much does your client have in the bank?
That I don't know the answer to, Your Honor, if I could ask the family real
Sure.
quickly. The mother's saying probably roughly around $1,500.
Okay. What about his assets? He had a 2007 Dodge Charger, obviously. He had insurance, I'm assuming. Otherwise, I would have seen some indication.
I'm understanding from the family that he has a lien on a 2007 truck and that he was financing it. So again, I'm not an expert in vehicles, but I would assume a 2007 truck, and we're in 2018, probably doesn't hold the most of value.
Does he own a home?
No, not that I believe. You don't own a home, does he? No, Your Honor.
All right, any response, does he have a passport?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, the only thing I was gonna say is, my understanding is the police contacted Mr. Harris to come to the station to complete their investigation, and at that point, he was arrested. So,
Okay.
that's
So,
all.
but he did show up?
He showed up, correct.
Okay. All right, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna leave 1 and 2 in place, the $100 each, just to make it, clean. I'm just gonna figure out the total bond. That's what I'm trying to say on count 3. So this is what I'm gonna do. Court's gonna set a $15,000 bond on count 3, leave the bond at $100 each on 1 and 2. Court is gonna order a GPS level 2. Court is going to order no driving. And that is without prejudice for you to go and have, I think it's more appropriate if you go before the division judge and speak to him about it,
Makes sense, Your
or
Honor.
her, okay? So GPS level 2, no driving. Surrender his passport within 48 business hours of his release. I know there's a holiday coming up, to the clerk of court. He's not to possess or apply for a passport and passport card. No one mentions the card, they have a card now
Correct.
where, you can go to the surrounding, islands and stuff like that.
Canada, Mexico, and a cruise, Your Honor, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably because the state doesn't have
So,
enough, doesn't make enough money to travel internationally, and the defense is too busy working, so we all forget about that.
Yeah, so I want him to surrender his passport within, does he have a passport card?
No.
Okay, so have him surrender his passport, to the clerk within 48 hours, business hours of his release. He's not to possess or apply for a passport and a passport card. Ms. Patrice, I do want him to be able to go to the hospital. I know that you have to do a schedule, so how do we work that out where he can go immediately there?
But it depends on when the issues are gonna be that I have to.
You know what, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do an open schedule for him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else?
Your Honor, so the drugs and alcohol, the court's not imposing that condition?
No, you said that there was no, the report said that there
Correct.
was no, or I heard today that there was
There's no allegation
issue.
of drugs or alcohol in the case.
Yeah, so, court's not gonna order it. All right, thank you very much, and good luck to you, ma'am.
And we will, I'll try to get the passport today before he gets released. I don't know, I know that corrections tends to take, a little bit of time to release. Because with this, I believe, Madam Clerk, does he have to give references for the ankle monitor?
What do you mean references?
Like yeah. No, I was just asking whoever knows the answer with
They
regard
have to verify his address, so how do we verify, how do we expedite this a little bit,
That was-
so?
After the bond is posted and the file is ready, we will be notified by, pretrial will be notified by the release then.
Okay.
And they'll begin working on the file.
So what needs to be done to verify the address?
To start, I post a bond and then it gets going.
But when you say it gets going, you said that you have to verify an address, so how do we verify it?
Someone is gonna go and interview and speak with the defendant, inquire as to where he's going to reside, and then they'll call that person, to verify that he can
Okay, because I don't know what the mother's condition's gonna be, so, do you live with him? The mother of his children, I should say. So maybe we could have someone speak and verify it now, Ms. Patrice, because I do want him to be able to go to the hospital. Can we do that?
I'll try, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I have nobody else but myself to do that.
All right,
If they need me to go make a phone call, I could go do so and try to get someone. No. Okay. We'll wait a few.
can we have her testify under oath? Okay. All right. All right, so why don't we take a break right now? We're done with this hearing, and I gotta finish writing this, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Putting in here, Ms. Patrice, defendant to surrender passport to clerk within 48 hours of release?
You're putting that in our order?
Yes. Is that okay?
The court already placed it, but they really go by the short order more than my order, because that short order.
Okay, then, you know what? I will take it out and I will initial it. How about that? Okay?
I'll just rewrite the order, because I don't want them to see all this right here.
All right, I apologize.
That's fine. That way-
Sorry about that,
that way,
so,
They have to take a copy of that short order.
mhm,
They take a copy of the short order.
okay.
And take it to the clerk of courts, so then, you know, if they had done that and they finished.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Okay, so here's the one, yes, sir.
Because you changed it to an open schedule, is the court gonna allow him to drive for like work and business purposes
No.
only? Okay, so he can't work? or
Let him
what
go
is-
to, just set a hearing before his division judge.
Okay, on that part, okay.
Okay?
He can work?
And Madam Clerk, this gets,
Well, he can't drive to work, okay, we'll figure it out. for now.
yeah, just set a hearing before his division judge, okay?
Do we know who that is yet, or no?
I have,
believe
I
it's
think
Judge
it'll,
Lynch, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Michael Lynch,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Of this?
No, the order, the short order.
I think they're gonna give you a copy of that.
I'll scan it.
Okay, then give her,
I'll give it right back. She's not there anyway.
oh,
Yeah, she
I
went.
thought she was bending down or something. All right. Okay. Mr. McLawrence, we gotta take one at a turn and then,
Your Honor, also North Broward would like you to call Miss Heather Cologne if you could.
Oh, perfect, Your Honor, that's what I was here for, so.
Okay.
all right, we're gonna have to call Henkel.
Okay.
Okay, come on up for Henkel, Mr. McLawrence, I'd appreciate it, thank you. All right, Eric Roy Henkel,
Judge, he's there in the main jail.
okay. Come on up, Mr. Henkel.
And he's on page 11.
Yep, page 11 of the docket. Okay, are you Mr. Henkel, sir? Hit the button, sir, right in front of you.
Yes.
All right, how you feeling today, sir?
All right.
All right, have you had enough opportunity to speak to Mr. McLawrence today?
Yes, I did.
All right, what are we doing with this case, Mr. McLawrence? He has an open container, I believe?
Yes, Your Honor. And I know the court probably can't see, but he just got out of surgery. He has the bandage still on his arm where he had the IV. On his
Okay.
hand, anyways. Judge, I spoke to Mr. Henkel. He would like to resolve this matter. I also discussed a centralized receiving center with him, and he would like to take advantage of that opportunity to get some assistance.
Okay. All right, so would he like to be released tonight or tomorrow morning?
Judge, it didn't matter to him either way. He just wants to be able to take
Well,
advantage
he's
of
in the medical unit right now at the jail, so you tell me.
Um,
Maybe it'll be more appropriate for tomorrow morning?
I would think so, Judge.
All right. All right, so Mr. Henkel, raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right, put your hand down. It's my understanding you wish to resolve your case today and not have a trial?
Yes.
Is anybody forcing you to do this?
No.
You're doing this freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You're not on any medication?
No.
Okay. Do you understand what's going on here today?
Yes, I do.
All right. So how do you want to plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest to open container?
No contest.
Court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Court's going to adjudicate him and time serve him. Post $78, Mr. McLawrence, in court costs. Transfer to the Central Receiving Center on 5/24/18 at 9 a.m. All right, sir, you have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Good luck to you, sir. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. McLawrence, you're gonna have to,
I'll wait, Judge. You want me to do the order?
I got them from Ms.
11.
No, I'm gonna have, what? Michelle knows how to do it. We'll have her CC you. Here. But I need that back, that order, and if you need a copy of that, you can ask Willie to make you a copy, okay? All right. Oh, okay, thank you. All right, so we have a request
Yes, Your Honor. North Broward is requesting that we call Miss Heather Cologne. She is on page 8 of the
Okay.
court's docket, and I believe that's why Mr. Weiner is still here in the courtroom.
Okay. All right, are you Heather Dawn Cologne?
Ma'am.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You have, counsel, announce your appearance for the record.
Yes, Your Honor, Ross Weiner on behalf of the state.
Brian Reedy from the Public Defender's Office on behalf of Miss Cologne.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, you are charged with 1 count of petty theft, 2nd degree. First offense, $25 bond. Count 2 is grand theft auto, $1,000 bond. Count 3 is fraud or attempt to use ID of another person without consent, $1,000 bond. Count 4, we need to talk about bond. That's fleeing with the disregard of safety to persons or property. Count 5, ma'am, you do have a probation violation or community control. You have a no bond hold. Count 6 and 7, you do have petty theft, 2nd degree. First offense on each one, $25 bond. Court does find probable cause. I would like someone to tell me, is this a probation violation in Broward County?
No, Your Honor.
Brevard County, Your Honor.
Okay, I was wondering why it didn't have a date. All right, so let's talk about bond state on
Yes, Your Honor.
counts, what is it, 4?
Count 4, correct, Your Honor. Just to let the court know the defendant's prior history, she's on probation for a burglary, conveyance, stealing and stolen property, and false verification of pawn ownership documents from 2000. It's a 2014 case. She was placed on 5 years of probation in 2017 in Brevard County. Her priors consist of a 2014 petty theft, 2005 resisting without violence, 2005 prostitution, 2004 petty theft, 2004 home invasion robbery, and 2004 prostitution and possession of drug paraphernalia. Based on the defendant's prior history and the facts of the case, the state's asking on count 4 that the court set bond at $20,000 with a pretrial, should she bond out and be released on her no bond hold, that the court set conditions of pretrial release level 1 with a GPS, that she not consume any drugs or alcohol with random testing at her expense. The court should note that the crash is under a separate, being investigated separately. However, the defendant did consent to a blood draw and did advise the police that she had consumed Molly, or
Okay.
ecstasy.
All right, defense?
Based on my conversations with Ms. Cologne, Your Honor, I don't believe that she's going to make the bonds that currently are set in place, let alone an additional $20,000 bond. The reality of the situation is that she has a no bond hold on her out of Brevard County, so she's not going to be in a position to be released from custody under any circumstances. I do feel, however, that absent any evidence that there was any type of impairment to Ms. Cologne, which is, there's no evidence of that before the court this morning, that a $20,000 bond is excessive. I'd ask the court for a $5,000 bond on count 4. Again, I don't think she'd be able to make that. She has a no bond hold, so in some ways it's a matter of semantics, but I think a $5,000 bond is appropriate.
All right. State, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so this is what the court's gonna do. On count 1, the court's gonna set it at $1. At counts 2 and 3, the court's setting bond at $999. On count 4, the court is gonna set bond at $7,500. Count 5 is gonna be a no bond hold. Counts 6 and 7, the court's gonna set at $1 each. You're to have no victim contact, ma'am, direct or indirect, with the alleged victims with the initials KS, that's fine, Willie, KS or TL. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
No contact, direct or indirect, means no calling, texting, writing, anything on social media, and no third-party contact. Okay? Good luck to you, ma'am.
All right, good luck, Heather.
Thank you, Your Honor.
One moment, ma'am. Heather, just wait one moment. I don't have a complete address for you, a mailing address for where your notices should go. I know you're gonna be, in jail, incarcerated for some time, but all I have is 5115 Grant, Florida. And then it has 6 digits, so can you give me your full street address?
5115 Honey Lane, Grant, Florida.
Hold on, because I'm writing this down. 5115 Honey Lane,
5115 B Honey Lane.
V,
B as in boy.
B Honey Lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the letter B or BEE?
The letter B, ma'am.
Okay. Grant, Florida, and what's the zip code?
32949.
I'm sorry, say that again?
32949.
32949. All right, ma'am, good luck to you. I hope you feel better.
Your Honor, I just asked that the court could order that she not drive a motor vehicle should she be released.
I don't have a license, I can't.
Okay. We have no objection to that, Your Honor.
Okay, you're not to drive pending further, no driving pending further order of court, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Sir, can I put it here and put my foot, because it has to be elevated because it is swelling, huh?
All right, you might want to turn the mic off at North Broward.
McCoy.
Thank you. You gotta put 9 AM, even though it's military hours. I put 9 AM, just so, I don't know if that's what the other one says.
Our Spanish interpreter is present, Judge.
Give me one moment, folks. We're gonna go off record. Everybody, how are you? What school are you here from? Spanish interpreter?
On page 1 of your docket, Rael Lagar Perez, he is in the main jail.
Senor, ven.
All right. Madam Interpreter, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear and/or affirm to translate from Spanish to English, English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do. Alicia Stegmoller.
Okay, can you spell your last name for the court reporter?
Stegemoller.
All right, good morning. Are you Rael Lagar Perez, sir?
¿Usted es Rayel Lagar Pérez?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir, you have an out-of-state hold for a misdemeanor.
Tiene una detención fuera de estado por otro estado por un delito menor.
Bondsman set at $1,500
La fianza ha sido fijada a $1,500
for larceny, the state of Texas.
por latrocinio en el estado de Texas.
So if you can bond out,
Así que si puede salir bajo fianza,
Judge, our only request is, would you sign a phone order so he can retrieve his contacts to call his family, post his bond?
yes, and just to let you know, Mr. Romero, if he doesn't bond out before the extradition
Si no-
hearing, he has to go, he can't bond out anymore.
si
Once
no
the-
sale de fianza antes de la extradición,
Okay.
no puede salir bajo fianza más.
All right, thank you very much. I'll sign a phone order.
Muchísimas gracias. Voy a firmar una orden para que coja su teléfono.
Any other Spanish cases?
¿Algún otro caso en español?
Yes, Judge, on page 10 of your docket,
Okay.
the gentleman's name is
The state hold.
Mr. Leon Barcelo.
Okay. Anybody else let me just have, so I can have them pulled. Anybody else?
On page 24, Judge, and that gentleman's name would be Mr. Brian Tapia.
Spell it for me, because I'm writing it down.
Tapiazorzin, how it appears on the docket.
All right, anybody else?
No one else at Maine.
All right, anybody at North Broward need the
Solo.
Spanish interpreter?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, anybody at Conti need a Spanish interpreter? No response from Conti. Anybody at Paul Ryan need a Spanish interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor, we have one on page 25.
And what's the,
Portillo Argueta Roberto,
spell the last name?
Porti.
Okay, we have it. I found it. Is he-
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be with you in 1 moment. All right, Main Jail. Are you Mr., this is page 10 if you want to go to it. Follow it, it'll be easier.
Barcelo.
Okay, are you Mr. Leyan Barcelo, sir?
¿Es el señor Leán Barcelo?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir, you have driving while license is suspended, first offense,
Tiene un
$100
primer
bond.
delito por 15, por manejar con licencia suspendida, $100 por la fianza.
You have an out-of-county hold, out of Dade County for failure to pay child support. Your purge amount is $2,500.
Son 2,500 por manutención desde el condado de Dade, que tiene una detención.
Court does find probable cause.
El juez haya motivo justificado.
Does he want to resolve his case today?
¿Quiere resolver su caso hoy?
Do you have a driving record on Mr.
Judge, at this time,
Barcelo?
we're going to
No?
be asking you, Judge, to consider releasing Mr. Barcelo ROR.
Okay.
Right now,
Considere la libertad bajo palabra del señor
Does he live
Barcelo.
at 5619 Taft
Vive
Street,
en el
Hollywood?
5919 Taft Street en Hollywood.
Sí.
Yes.
All right, court will ROR him, thank you.
Le van a dar libertad bajo palabra. Gracias.
Seems, Mr. Romero, he only has 2 outstanding traffic tickets. So you might want to talk to him, okay? All right, so next person is going to be page 24, Tapia Zorzin. Page 24, Madam Interpreter.
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
All right, sir, you are charged with grand theft between $300 and $5,000. Bond
Señor,
set at $1,000.
Se le acusa de robo mayor entre $300 y $5,000. La fianza es fijada a $1,000.
All right, this was a very hard probable cause affidavit to read.
Un affidavit muy dificultoso para
But it
leer.
does say he admitted to taking
Pero
the
dice que-
merchandise valued at
Admitió tomar la mercancía en el valor de
$3,137
$3,137
and 64 cents.
y 64 centavos.
I can't even see the victim's name.
It's Home Depot.
Okay,
Es de Home Depot.
can you give me the address date?
3183
3183
Southwest
Suroeste
160th Avenue
160 Avenida
in Miramar.
en Miramar.
Sir, you're not to return to that location, do
Señor,
you
no puede
understand?
regresar a esa localización, ese local, ¿entiende?
Está bien.
Fine.
Any objection to probable cause?
¿Alguna objeción o motivo justificado?
Based on his statements, no, Your
Basado
Honor.
en su declaración, no, su señoría.
Court does find probable cause for grand theft.
La jueza halla motivo justificado para robo mayor.
Can you make the $1,000 bond, Mr. Romero?
Judge, we're gonna be requesting a phone order. He's gonna be trying to contact his friends to pose his monetary bond, Judge.
Okay,
Vamos a
that's
pedir
fine.
una orden para que le den el teléfono para
Court will sign a
contactar a
phone
sus
order.
amigos.
But I would like to verify his address, 6151
6151
West 24th Ave,
Oeste 24 Avenida,
apartment 105,
apartamento 105,
Hialeah, Florida.
Hialeah, Florida.
Yo no vivo en Hialeah.
I don't live in Hialeah.
What is your address, sir?
¿Cuál es su dirección, señor?
And please say it slow since I have to write it down.
Dígalo despacio porque tengo que escribirla.
Overtown.
Overtown.
What is your street address, sir?
¿Cuál es su dirección en la calle donde vive?
Yo no tengo dirección.
I don't have an address.
All right. Mr. Romero, you're going to have to speak to him about
Tiene que hablar
updating his address because clearly it's
de
wrong.
poner al día su dirección.
Talk to him right now, Judge.
Hablo
All
ahora
right.
mismo.
Is this the next one? So he doesn't have an address, so nothing I can do.
No tiene dirección.
Thank you, Judge. Yo tengo.
Thank you.
No
All right,
tiene
next one is
dirección.
at Paul Ryan. Rigoberto Portillo Argea. What page? It's page 25, I believe, Madam Interpreter.
Yes.
All right, you have an ad charge, sir? You
Tiene
actually have a change of charge,
un
excuse
caso
me.
cambiado.
It says ad charges. I only have one on my cover sheet,
Tengo
State.
cargos agregados.
I think everything
And-
else was handled.
Huh?
What happened, Judge, when he came back for the ad charge, the COC was left off, so he was never seen on count 4, so that's why that's the only
Okay,
one
it says
that-
on the capias, change of charge count 7.
It was a change of charge, but it was
But is
never.
it count
Cambio de
7 or 4?
cargo.
Does it
It's
matter?
it's count 4.
One is dealing with the count of the information, the other one
Uno
is
tiene
dealing
que ver
with
con el
what charge
cargo
he was booked on.
en el documento acusatorio y el otro con la orden de arresto.
All right, defense?
And we are waiving formal reading of the
Estamos
charge, Judge.
renunciando a formalmente leerla al cargo.
All right, the defense has waived formal
La
reading.
defensa ha renunciado a que lo lean formalmente el cargo.
Court does find probable cause.
La jueza haya motivo justificado.
State?
Your Honor, this is really a lateral change of charge.
Cambio lateral.
Judge Weinstein originally set a bond
El
of
juez
$25,000.
Fijó $25,000 de fianza previamente.
I'd be requesting that the court place that bond back on him on this count.
Pedimos que le ponga el caso, el fianza igual en este cargo.
He was also arraigned by Judge Tim Bailey yesterday.
También fue
on this
instruido de
case.
cargos por el juez Tim Bailey ayer.
Okay, any objection to $25,000 bond?
Could I have just 1 second, please, Judge?
Sure.
He's being held no bond on the other count, right?
He has no bond holds?
That's what I
Una
wanted to check.
una detención sin fallo por el otro cargo.
He does on one count.
In light of the
Was
fact
he
that he.
arre-
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Judge.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Yes, I see that the gentleman does have a no bond hold.
Was he arraigned 522 by Judge Tim Bailey
Yes,
on this charge?
yes.
I see that the gentleman does have a no bond hold.
Tiene una detención sin fianza.
In light of that, he's going to have to appear in front of Judge Bailey
Tiene que estar frente al juez Bailey
to address the no bond,
para dirigir la detención sin fianza.
as well as the other substantial bonds that he
También
has
como
on other
las
outstanding
otras-
charges.
Cargos que tiene divulgados que le quedan por el resto.
So we do not object at this time to
Así
that
que no
bond being
tenemos protesta
reinstated.
en este momento que le dé la misma fianza.
All right, so $25,000
Así que son
bond.
$25,000 de fianza por el cargo que le queda.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Gracias, señor. Buena
Willie, can you make me
suerte.
a copy of this, please?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McLaurin, finally. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right. Robert.
He's over at the
well,
Conte
we'll
facility.
call- We did Eric Henkel, right?
Yes, Judge. We're in Robert Thirsty on page 10 of the docket. He's over at Conte facility.
All right, thank you. Hello, how are you? Good. All right, are you Mr. Robert Thirsty, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I need Mr. Thirsty's probable cause affidavit. You said page what?
10, Your Honor.
Robert Thirsty.
Judge, I included it with the order.
Well, I just have this, but I don't know what the bond, it doesn't tell me what the bond amount is. Okay.
It's
So, sir-
$250.
All right, sir, you have count 4. Is this an ad charge?
I believe so, Judge. I
Yes.
think he has a new possession of cocaine.
All right, this is a possession of a controlled substance. This is going before Judge Christopher Pohl. He has a court date this Friday. He has a $250 bond. He didn't show up for arraignment. Thank you, Willie.
Judge, he indicated to me that he didn't receive the notice for the municipal ordinance case, but he would like to resolve this matter.
Okay, withholding court costs.
Is that what you'd like to do, Mr. Thirsty? Accept the withholding court costs?
Yes. No contest.
All right, and it's not gonna affect, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. Please state your first and last name.
Robert Thirsty, ma'am.
Thirsty?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, it's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial, sir. You want to give up your right to a trial? Plead guilty or no contest today?
No contest, ma'am.
All right, and that's the possession of a controlled substance?
Yes, ma'am.
No one's forcing you to do this.
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol or medication?
Not at the moment, ma'am. No,
You
ma'am.
understand what's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea to this charge can result in deportation proceedings and affect your ability to remain in the United States.
I am a citizen, ma'am.
All right. You've had enough of time to speak to Mr. McLaurin about resolving this case today?
Yes, he's been most helpful to me. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
All right, this isn't going to affect any other cases that he has pending, is it?
Judge, I think it would add 0.2 points on his felony score sheet.
Okay. You understand, sir, that by admitting to this charge today, that this could affect your sentence in your pending felony case?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
All right, considering everything that we've discussed, you want to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest to possession of controlled substance?
I want to plead no contest.
Court's going to accept your plea, find that's freely and voluntarily entered. Court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Court's going to withhold and court costs $78. In court costs, court takes judicial notice of the time that he served in the Broward County Jail. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. You're done with this case, sir, except for your $78 in court costs. Good luck to you, sir.
Can I get the same lawyer throughout my rest of my cases, ma'am?
What?
If you could afford it.
Oh, yeah, you private lawyer. Hey, thank you for having a nice day, Your Honor.
Thank
All right,
you.
take
Good
it.
luck to you, sir. All right. Thank you, Mr. McLawrence. All right, so we're gonna go to our regular docket. All right, Mr. Edner Estriplet.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Estriplet, you have an out-of-state hold for a felony. It is from the state of Massachusetts. You have a no bond hold. We'll see you in extradition court, sir. I hold it Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Good luck to you, sir. Next one is Angelica Francis, please.
North Broward Detention Center, Your Honor.
All right, North Broward. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning.
All right, you have leaving an accident, attended vehicle damage, $500 bond, and you have driving while your license is suspended, also a $500 bond. Anybody wish to be heard?
Judge, I'm going to be asking the court, well, first of all, Ms. Francis would like to resolve the case this morning. I don't know if that's possible, based on the nature of count one, leaving the scene of an accident.
Your Honor, I don't have an offer on these charges. I'm also going to be requesting that the court keep these bonds in place. This is the second time she's been arrested for failing to appear in court on this case alone. That's just since March of, I believe February or March of this year. She bonded out last time for a total bond of $1,000 when she failed to appear before Judge Schiff. She also was arrested this year for failing to appear on another case of possession of cannabis. She also has a history of failing to obey court orders, as she has numerous withholds and convictions for violating domestic violence injunctions.
If the court's not inclined to extend an offer, and I would understand if you did not, I would ask the court to consider pretrial release for Ms. Francis.
But
She's
she
been
fails
living
to
in,
appear. How is she gonna?
well,
I mean, I understand the name. This is my concern. I don't know who the new judge is gonna be because she's in custody. Madam Clerk, when does she get assigned a new judge? Because I just don't want her sitting in the jail and, going 1 month later to whoever the division judge is. All right, you know what? I'm gonna leave the bonds at $500 each. She did previously fail to appear. I'm gonna leave it upon the public defender's responsibility, since you represent her, to make sure and follow the case, whoever it is, and I'm not saying you, Mr. Reedy, whoever it is, that you get her in before her division judge and she just doesn't sit in the jail.
no, I'll keep an eye on the case, Judge. I'm going to call your dad, Angelica, all right, and see if he can come bond you out, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck,
All right,
ma'am.
thank you.
Tynesha Lachey Edgerton.
Ms. Edgerton is in the is in a Rhine facility, Judge.
All
And she'd
right.
like to resolve this matter this morning if possible.
Okay, are you Tynesha Lachey Edgerton?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, you have petty theft from a merchant. Apparently you were at the Walmart store. State, do you have an offer?
Yes, Judge. State's offer would be,
Bye, good luck. Thanks for coming.
state's offer to be a withhold. She does, it's just up there.
Withholding court costs, Mr. Reedy.
Ms. Edgerton, would you like to forego your right to a trial by jury, enter a plea of no contest for no adjudication and time served? And court costs? Very well, Judge. She would like to accept the offer.
All right. Ma'am, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. Did you speak to her even though we're doing a withhold?
Yes, Judge, I did explain to Ms. Edgerton and also to Ms. Simonette, who's sitting behind her, and is the next case on the docket, that a third conviction or a third arrest for petty theft could result in a felony charge.
All right, you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I swore you in, right? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how do you say your last name? Edgerton?
Yes.
All right. All right, we have a new group here. Hello. All right, so, ma'am, it's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody forcing you to do this?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs?
No, ma'am.
All right, you heard what your attorney said. If you get if you get arrested again, they can charge you a third time for theft. They can charge you as a felony, even though it might really be a petty theft. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea to this charge could result in deportation proceedings and affect your ability to remain in the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No, ma'am.
Are you on any medications?
No, ma'am.
You doing this freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You had enough of time to talk to Mr. Reedy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How do you wish to plead to petty theft from a merchant's second offense?
No contest.
Court's going to accept your plea, find that's freely and voluntarily given. Court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Court's going to withhold and impose court costs of $293. The court will take judicial notice of the time that you served in the Broward County Jail. Ma'am, you are not to return to the Walmart located at 2300 West Atlantic Boulevard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think happens, ma'am, if you return there?
I'm going to jail.
You're gonna get arrested again, so don't return to the Walmart, 2300 West Atlantic Boulevard, Pompano Beach, Florida. Good luck to you, ma'am. You have
Thank
30
you.
days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. What's your name, ma'am?
It's Miss Simonette, Your Honor. She is
Okay,
the
next
next
one.
case on the docket, and she would also like to resolve her matter.
All right, state.
Make the same offer.
All right, ma'am, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
All right, your name is Demaria Simette, Symonette.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, it's my understanding you heard all the questions that I just asked, the other person just before you.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
it's my understanding, so do you wish to also waive your right to a trial?
Yes.
Anybody forcing you to do this?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or
No,
medication?
I'm not.
You
No.
understand what's going on here today?
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea to this charge could result in deportation proceedings and affect your ability to remain in the United States?
Yes.
All right, and you also acknowledge, ma'am, that the third time you're arrested for a theft charge, even though it might be a misdemeanor, a petty theft or a retail theft under $300, the state could charge you as a felon. Charge it as a
Yes.
felony. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, understanding what I just explained to you, how do you want to plead to petty theft from a merchant's second offense, ma'am? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Okay, the court is going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Court's going to withhold and impose court costs of $293. Court takes judicial notice of the time that you served in the Broward County Jail. Court is going to order that you not return, ma'am, to the Walmart located at 2300 West Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach, Florida. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, ma'am, one will be appointed. You're done with this case except for paying the $293. Thank you. Good luck to you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, stay out of Walmart, ladies. All right. So, all right, let's go off for All right, are you Frances Marie Padilla?
Yes.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with assault, $100 bond. You also have criminal mischief, $200 or less. First offense, there's no bond attached to that, so that's essentially an ROR. Court does find probable cause. Court is going to order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in the case with the initials JB. No contact, direct or indirect, means no contact in person, calling, texting, writing, nothing whatsoever on social media, including liking or disliking or commenting on anything, and also no contact through third parties. You understand?
Understood.
Thank you very much. All right, so Mr. Reedy, what are we doing?
Well, Judge, I'm going to ask the court to release Ms. Padilla on her own recognizance. I don't know if the state has an
She
objection to
doesn't want to
that.
resolve her case today, or abstain?
I don't think so, Judge.
All right,
Because there's
ROR, no
criminal,
victim
thank you,
contact.
Judge.
All right, ma'am, do you live at 1207 South Dixie Highway West, apartment 106, Pompano Beach?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, look for your court date, 1 to 2 weeks. If you don't, go to the Broward clerk.
The court order no contact?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck,
right.
Francis.
Tammy K. Kemp, please.
Ms. Kemp is in the North Broward Detention Center, Your Honor. I can represent her on count 6. My understanding is she would like to resolve all 7 counts, if that can be done.
All right, good morning, Ms. Kemp, how are you?
Doing well, I'm homeless, and my boyfriend, we're gonna get a place to live soon.
All right, well, here's the thing, ma'am. You know, they have a lot of services available, and I don't know if I offered this to you. Your name sounds familiar, and I don't know if you were here previously, but they have the Central Receiving Center. It's Henderson. They can help you find housing, I mean, instead of living on the street and being homeless. So,
Okay, Henderson?
yes,
Okay, I'll go there.
okay. All right, so let me tell you what it is. It's completely voluntary. You don't have to go there. But you'll go there, they'll feed you, you can take a shower, they'll give you clothes. They'll really try to help you find an assistant. You can call anybody you want, and you can watch TV. So, they'll really be able to offer you assistance. Do you want to go tonight?
Yes, I would love to.
All right. So, this is what I'm gonna do, ma'am. As far as, state, what's your offer on the trespass other structure?
Time served, no return to 1735 East Young Circle in Hollywood.
Did you hear the, address, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, what do you think happens if you return there?
I'm gonna get arrested.
And you're gonna come back before me, ma'am, and I'm not gonna time serve you, do you understand?
Yes.
All right, so, do you wanna resolve all your cases today for an adjudication in time served?
Yes, I do.
All right, raise your right hand, do you swear and or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, is your name Tammy K. Kemp, K-E-M-P?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down, ma'am. It's my understanding in all these cases you wish to waive your right to a trial?
Yes.
All right, and in the municipal ordinance cases, you wish to waive your right to an attorney, meaning I can appoint a public defender to represent you. But if you want to represent yourself and waive your right to an attorney, we can resolve all your cases today. What would you like to do?
Resolve it today.
And waive your right to an attorney?
Yes.
All right. Is anyone forcing you to do this?
No.
Are you under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No.
You're not under the influence of anything else, right?
No.
You're doing this freely and voluntarily?
Yes. Yes, John.
Ever been treated for a mental health condition that would affect your ability to understand what's going on here today?
No.
All right, so let's start from the top. How do you wish to plead to? Let me go through them all, okay?
Okay.
Tell me if it's guilty, not guilty, or no contest. Carrying an open container, no lodging on city-owned property, trespass private property, no lodging on city-owned property, carrying an open container, trespass other structure, and carrying an open container.
No contest.
Court's gonna accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. On each count, the court is gonna adjudicate you and time serve you. On each MO case that is separate, Madam Clerk, just on the first count, I'm gonna do $78 in court costs for the municipal ordinances. And for the MM case, I'm going to impose $293 in court costs. Just so there's no confusion, it's all, even though I said time served, I'm gonna want them to say it's concurrent with all her other cases. Okay? On all the separate cases, my understanding is if there's a case, one case number, and there's 2 counts, I only do the court costs on the first count. Okay, then $78 on each one. Except for the MM case is gonna be $293, which I am required to impose by law. All right, so you have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Don't return to 71735 East Young Circle, Hollywood, Florida, ma'am. You'll be arrested.
Okay,
All right? Good luck to you.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
How do I get to, how's it?
They'll come and pick you up, Tammy.
They're gonna come and pick you up, okay? All right, so I need you to do an order on her case. Let's just do one case number. Pick this case, the MO.
No.
Right, so you're gonna write this case number.
You said she going tonight?
Yes.
She's gonna go tonight?
Yes. So you're gonna write this up. Oh. So Sheila, we're gonna put that she's gonna be released from the main jail? Okay.
This is who was he?
No, just put 9 PM each one, okay? Yep. Put this, oh, you know what? Let's do the MM case, it's easier. Trespassing, structures of this conveyance, okay? All right, next one is Doris Barber, please.
He's approaching, Judge.
Thank you.
And Judge, one other matter, Judge, on Edna Estrepolit, that was the extradition matter. I just forgot to request a phone order. Would you sign an order for phone access to a phone order?
Yeah,
I already
what page
contacted
was-
Mr. Reedy.
Oh, okay.
He's page on 2.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, are you Miss Doris Barber, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you have DUI, alcohol, or drugs, first offense, $500 bond, count 2. It's DUI with damage to property of a person or a person of another, $1,000 bond. Count 3 is refused to submit to a DUI test, no bond attached to that. Count 4 is careless driving, it's not for magistrate, it's essentially a civil traffic infraction. So there's no bond required on that as well. Total is $1,500 bond. Court does find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge. And speaking of Miss Barber, she's 63 years old. She's retired. She gets Social Security. She's a widow.
Tell me what you're
she-
asking for.
For pretrial release, I'm going to ask if
State,
the
any
state has an
objection to
objection.
pretrial release?
I don't have an objection to pretrial release. She does have a prior DUI, so I would ask for conditions, no alcohol, intoxicants, and
When
random
did she
testing.
get her other DUI?
Late 90s.
1998, maybe?
Okay, court's gonna put her on standard pretrial release. No alcohol or intoxicants, random testing at her expense. Thank you. Oh, Hold on, Mr. Romero, I want to verify her address, hold on. Is it 2720 Oak Tree Lane, Oakland Park, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, look for a notice in the mail in the next 7 to 14 days. If not, you can go to the browardclerk.org and look it up, or contact your private attorney or the public defender's office, who's ever going to represent you, and ask them when your next court date is, okay? Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Oh, did you tell her she has to report within 24 hours, Mr. Romero?
I'm gonna right now give her a map.
Okay.
You'll be released probably today at around before 3 p.m.
And the court will allow, Ms. Patrice, prescription medications are allowed, as usual, unless I say otherwise. Thank you.
So you just, this is Jan, walk across the street, that's the
All right, here you go. Shelby Sierra Huff, please.
Miss Shelby Huff, come on up, please. Yeah, you're done.
Okay,
What's
good
up, Mr.
morning, Ms.
President?
Huff, how are you?
Fine.
All right, ma'am, you have driving while license is suspended, failure to register your vehicle, and unlawful tag. Total bonds are $550 and $50, so total is $600. Does she want to resolve her case today?
No, Judge, my understanding is Ms. Huff obtained her valid driver's license, so she's gonna
Oh,
go to
perfect.
court and present
Okay.
it. So I don't know if Your Honor can confirm that. I don't know if your court would be inclined to ROR, or if not, she gave me the phone number of her boyfriend. I'm gonna call her right after court
Okay,
for him to post her
205
bond.
Northwest 14th Court, Dania?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, court will ROR you, ma'am. You're gonna have to go to court. If you don't, bring your valid driver's license, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, good luck to you.
Thank you.
James Michelle Hairston?
She's in North Broward, Judge.
Okay. James Michelle Hairston. Hello. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm all right, how are you?
Fine, thanks. All right, ma'am. You have trespass failure to leave property upon order by owner.
I have a child with a man. She's 10 years old, and I always go over there to see her. He's trying to make me look so crazy to where I don't ever have
Jamie.
any rights or I can't. Oh, sorry.
Jamie, take it easy, okay? Listen to the judge.
Oh, I can.
Okay, bond is set at $25. Court does find probable cause. Can you afford that?
She'd like to resolve the case if possible, Judge.
Same place?
Yes, Your Honor. You advise her not to return. She's gonna keep going back to this person's home, and keep going onto his patio, no matter what the court tells her. I would note, Your Honor, her time of arrest was at 4:40 in the morning. So that this, she was there to see a child, that, I don't see how that's reasonable.
So what are you asking?
Your Honor, at this point,
You think $25 is gonna,
I'm not asking for $25, but I'm trying to think of something, because clearly she's not gonna listen to Your Honor.
Therapy. Therapy, please.
There might be other issues involved here, Your Honor, if you're listening to what Ms. Hairston just stated. Perhaps a transfer of divisions might be appropriate in this matter.
well, I don't know if it's,
I miss my baby. I miss my child. I miss my family.
And
I
need
kind of think it is.
therapy.
And that's why I provided the court with the last two probable causes. It's the same thing every time.
He won't let me see her. I don't know what to do.
Ms. Hairston just made a statement to the effect that she needs therapy. I'm inclined to agree.
all right, so this is what the court's gonna do. Court's gonna revoke her other pretrial. Court is gonna do a $25 bond. Ma'am, you're not to return to this location.
Okay, thank you.
I am gonna transfer you to Judge Wren. Your total bond is going to be $50.
Thank you.
Is there someone Mr. Reedy can call?
I asked Ms. Hairston if there was anyone I could contact for her, and there wasn't.
Are you
My
transferring,
mother.
are you transferring both cases?
Hold on, 37.
Jamie, do you want me to call your mother for you?
I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
please.
was writing down the
I'm
address.
just asking if the court's transferring both cases.
All right, I'm going to call you in 1 second. You give me her name and number, okay?
All All right, I need a transfer order on both cases. Do you have the case number for the clerk? Mr. Reedy? I mean,
I
Mr.
don't,
Linder?
Judge. I'm looking it up, but I don't have it right yet, just yet.
Court's gonna put her on pretrial, standard pretrial supervision. Ma'am, when you bond out, you have to report in 24 hours. If you come back here again, it's not gonna be pretty. Thank
I,
you.
I have the case number, Judge.
All right.
She
Madam
is.
Clerk, you might wanna take note of this.
It's 1-800-3005.
Hold on, give it to me again, I'll write it in. I didn't realize the clerk doesn't have it.
One-
Bye, folks. Have a great day. Thank you. 1-8,
1-800-3005.
yes, okay,
MM10A.
all right.
And that is a pending misdemeanor trespass. She also has another unfiled misdemeanor trespass.
The one from today.
I don't know if it may be the one from today. Mr. Lender may be able to help us with that. I thought he said that she had 2 outstanding trespassing charges.
No, she had one that she pled out, and she has an open case 18-3005. That was the case she was on pretrial.
Okay.
Right.
And
That
this new
case is open.
Yes,
Okay, so that case and then the instant case we
Yes.
did today.
yes.
Okay.
All right, so if, Madam Clerk, I wrote it on there, and then I'll sign this one for you. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
And we're putting her on standard pretrial on both of those. Yeah.
Well, she was already on pretrial.
Yeah, I know, I'm putting her back on again. North Broward, can I have a detention deputy? What was her name again?
Jamie Harrison.
Could we make sure that we give, Ms. Harrison a map to pretrial services and tell her she has to report within 24 hours?
her while she was standing
All right, I didn't see that.
Yes.
My mistake.
She
Thank
has it.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, okay. All right. Stephanie Cavallo, please.
She's a medical research, Your Honor.
Judge, could you do me a favor?
Sure.
On count 4, is the case number on the finding? On that probation?
Nope.
Can you write it in?
Sure.
It'll be 1-800-3674 CF10A. And they said she's a medical reset, right? Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you give me back that last order for the Central Receiving Center so I can have, my bailiff make a copy of it? No, I do. I'm gonna have, you can? Okay, if I could have the original to give it to Miss Patrice, thank you. You might wanna make a note that she's at, Sheila, that she's at North Broward, because she's gotta be transported to the main jail.
That's good.
Huh?
When we transport people, we do a special release form. So it's fine.
Okay, so just so that you know.
It's not in this little file.
It was Tammy Kemp, wasn't that her name?
Yeah, it's Kemp.
Tammy Kemp, Madam Clerk. I believe, my intern.
Have a name on it. Get it. The name is not on the top.
All right, I need the original back then. Who has the original?
The clerk should have the white
Hey,
one.
Madam Clerk, this is what it is. Do you have this? It's okay. All right, so it's K-E-M-P?
Yeah.
Tammy? Tammy K. I'll just give you both of them, okay? Thank you. All right, Alicia Tierra Villavicencio.
Judge, do you see her present at Maine? At this time, she did inform me that her family hired a private attorney for her. We contacted her mother. I believe my colleague contacted Mr. Reedy with the name of her private attorney.
Yes, Judge. The attorney's name is Armando Hernandez.
Ramondo?
There are two Armando Hernandezes in Miami. I called them both. I spoke with someone at one of their offices who said that they would call back and haven't. And I left a message for the other Armando Hernandez. So I don't know.
Do you have a family member that we can call and find out which one it is?
Yes, my mom.
What's your mom's number, ma'am?
954.
Hold on one
46.
moment.
954 465 3912.
What's your mom's name?
Lisette Gordon.
What is it?
Lisette Gordon. Hello?
Yes, Miss Lisette Gordon.
Yes, this is.
Okay, my name is Judge Malika. You're on speakerphone. I'm actually in first appearance magistrate court, trying to find out if you hired an Armando Hernandez for your daughter.
No, we have not hired him. I thought that there was going to be a legal aid there, just to, as you know, to do what they had to do. I don't know how to word it because I don't know anything about court.
All right, so then
And
let me just ask you this, ma'am. Are you going to be getting a private attorney, or would you like the public defender's office to go ahead
right
and
now,
represent?
public defender's office can take care of this, please.
Okay. All right, ma'am, so, we'll go forward with this, case, and, if you want, I can leave you on speakerphone, since you're on, and, just as long as you don't say anything, okay?
That's fine.
All right, thank you. I'll put you on mute.
Thank you.
Or not put you on mute. All right, your name is Alyssa Tierra Villavicencio?
Yes.
All right, waive formal reading, or?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so, ma'am, they're gonna waive formal reading. We need to talk about bond on count 1. Count 2 is possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. You want me to read those?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so I won't read them. Bond set at 100, 1,000, and 100. We need to talk about count 1, setting a bond. State, what are you requesting as far as bond?
$1,000 bond on count.
$1,000 bond?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, at this time, I'm speaking Ms. Villavicencio. She's going to be relying on her mother to post her bond. She believes her mother will be able to afford to post her monetary bond. I believe, according to Ms. Villavicencio, her mother already is in contact with the bondsman, so $1,000 bond at this time, we'd have no objection.
All right, so it would be $2,200 total.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to make that clear. And State, any special conditions in this case?
Your Honor, based on the allegations, I'm going to be contacting the officer to contact, if Child Protective Services haven't already been contacted, and I'll defer to them to how
All
they
right,
proceed.
what about no contact with the minor child?
Well, that's what I'm referring to, Your Honor, based on the allegation. She has no criminal history from what I can tell. So I'm gonna, Your Honor, that's why I'm gonna contact the officer to make sure that CPS is notified and,
All right, so you don't want the court to do an order of no
I'll leave it in,
contact with
I'll
the
leave it in
minor
the
child?
court, I'll leave it in the court's discretion.
All right, it's either you want it or you don't want it.
Fine,
So-
I'll ask for no contact, Your Honor.
All right. For the time being, until further order of the court is gonna order no contact, direct or indirect, with the 1-year-old child, ma'am.
Judge, at this time, we're going to be objecting to that.
Hold on, ma'am. Go ahead, Mr. Romero.
Judge, my understanding is this is her first contact with the criminal justice system. I read the allegation. My understanding is the case is neglect of a child. I believe that the child was restrained with the manufacturer's seatbelt and not in an actual infant seat. Judge, right now caring for the child. My understanding is, if you give me one moment, I just want to get one additional piece of information.
3 pounds.
No.
And, just for the record, I think the amount of cannabis that they found in the car was also a concern for law
3
enforcement.
pounds.
Judge, right now, she's never had no prior allegations or anything like that involving child net with the child, Judge. So Judge, I'd ask you at this time to not impose a no contact order with her child, Judge.
Okay, the court is going to impose over your objection. Court is going to impose no contact with the 1-year-old child based on the totality of his circumstances and the allegations as contained in the probable cause affidavit. Until further order of the court, she can go before her division judge. So, bond is set at a total of $2,200. Okay, ma'am, Miss, I'm sorry, I forgot your mother's last name. Gordon, I'm sorry, Miss Gordon. So you can contact a bondsman and tell him the total bond is $2,200, okay?
Yes, but they had told me that she was going to be able to see the baby because I have to pick her up and I have the baby. And now you're saying that she can't be next to the baby. Like, I don't...
She can have, until further order of the court, she can't have any contact with this child, not based on the allegations. But you can, the public defender or your private attorney can go before the division judge and request that she have contact, okay?
Judge, I'm going to ask you then to, a further request, I'm going to ask you then, could she have supervised contact? If right now the child is with her grandmother, which is Ms. Valenciano's mother, who you're speaking on the phone, would you allow supervised contact?
I'm not
I
going
mean,
to
this
do that.
matter is before you,
I
so it
understand.
is appropriate to make this request before you, Judge.
All right, your request is denied. I'm going to leave it to the division judge to have a hearing on it, okay? Till further order of the court. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Anita Martin?
Ms. Martin, come on up, please.
Okay, good morning, Miss Martin. You have grand theft between $300 and $5,000. Bond set at $1,000. Court does find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard?
It's her first arrest ever. I'm going to ask if the state has an objection to an ROR.
No objection, Your Honor, just ask for an order of no return.
You mean no victim
No victim
contact, because
contact,
she was at the
yes.
DMV
Yes,
office.
yes, that is correct.
All right, ma'am, the court is going to order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with a Maria Witt. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you hear me before when I was saying what no victim contact, direct or indirect means, ma'am? Means no contact in person, calling, texting, writing, nothing on social media, nothing through third parties, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am.
Did we skip Stephanie Cavallo, Judge?
I thought they said it was a medical reset.
Oh, medical reset? Okay.
I thought that's what they
Yeah. All right, so this one we're doing standard pretrial release or ROR?
On the last case, I'm fine with an ROR.
Okay, ROR. Jennifer Stevens,
North Broward, I believe.
Okay.
Come back.
Yes, Judge.
Jennifer Stevens, please. What page is that of a docket?
8.
She's a medical research, Your Honor.
All right. And then the next one is going to be Haley Kathleen Galt.
North Broward.
Hello, ma'am, how are you?
How are you?
Fine, thanks. You have an ad charge, count 2. Oh, it's a change of charge to a robbery with aggravated battery.
Your Honor, it's actually a file charge. That being said,
Well, it says robbery, aggravated battery is a new charge, right?
yes. Originally it was a strong robbery. Even though it's an up file, I'm still gonna just request that the court set the same bond and release conditions that you originally set. Yeah.
Okay, any objection by the defense?
Ms. Galt has some no bond holds, Judge, so at this point in time, no objection.
All right, ma'am, this is what the court's gonna do. The court's gonna set your bond at $7,499. The court's gonna keep the same conditions, no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in the case with the initials JL or IC. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I know. And thank you, though. Next one is GPS Level 2 and no return to 4149 Lakeside Drive, Tamarack, Florida. You're to maintain 1,000 feet. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Linder gave me a copy. Ms. Patrice, would you like this? Here. Okay, just, okay. Misty Marie Bodine, please.
North Broward.
Hello, ma'am, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Fine, thanks. All right, you have a petty theft. Another one that says from a transit agency. It's a retail store. $25 bond, count 2. It's grand theft. Actually, counts 2 and 3 are grand theft between $300 and $5,000. Bond set at $1,000 on each one. You do have probation violations, which is counts 4, 5, and 6. And that is that out of county? Let's see. Yes, no. Are these probation violations?
Yes.
They're
They're
out of Broward.
they're Broward cases.
Okay, does anybody know when she's going before her division judge on these? Because it doesn't have a date, and I don't want her to get lost in the shuffle. Oh, wait, it says 5/24, so it's tomorrow, ma'am. I'm sorry, it was on the page from yesterday. So you're going before your division judge tomorrow at 9 a.m., okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anybody want to be heard on 1, 2, or 3?
No, Your Honor.
All right, $1 on 1, $999 on 2 and 3. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. Next one is Edison Celestin. Edison Celestin, and then after that is Kenzo
Main
Melas.
judge, he declined the services of public defender.
All right, Mr. Edson, you have, I'm sorry, Edison Celestin, is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you have some ad charges. You actually have warrants, VOP, pretrial, felony. You have no bond holds, counts 2, 3, and 4. Does anybody know when he's going before his division judge?
I'm going to, I do, Your Honor.
When?
Friday.
All right.
This Friday.
All right, if not, you have to contact your public defender, okay? You're gonna be held no bond pending that hearing based on the orders by your judge.
And you said it's an ad charge. Can you tell me what's the ad
Why
charge
does it
is?
have ad charges? I thought it usually is not for magistrate. Okay, can I have it back? Sorry.
I just have Edison.
The one I just
He's
gave
on
you.
page 18.
Yeah, but my Edison Celestin, I just have him on a Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I just have counts 2, 3, and 4, warrant, VOP, pretrial, and I was just surprised because normally those say not for magistrate.
And you're absolutely right, Judge. He's only to be magistrated on count 1. They didn't type in the magistrate code for N, so it came up.
Okay, so tell me what count 1 is.
Count 1 is the grand theft. That's the only one for
Between,
magistrate.
No, it's Grand Theft Auto.
Grand theft auto.
okay. So, sir, I'm sorry, I apologize. They have the wrong information on my sheet. You have a grand theft auto. Bond is set at $1,000. Court does find probable cause. Does anybody wish to be heard on bond?
In light of the no bond holds, Judge, no.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Sure, don't talk about the facts of your case.
No, I know. I know that I got a charge of grand theft auto, but I know I was also on pre-trial release. I'm willing to fight my case, but me being on pre-trial release, I was actually on a level 1 where I can't leave my home at all. And like once again, I'm not talking about the case, but I'm being charged for something that I couldn't even leave the house. I never left the house. So I have a paid attorney. My attorney was not actually
Who is your
here.
attorney?
He was out of town when my
What's your
I
attorney's
have
name?
Lawrence Wolf. They called him yesterday, and he said he was coming in today, but
All
I
right,
don't know
this
if he's
is what we're gonna do. We're gonna reset you for this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Can someone call Miss Wolk, Mr. Wolk? All right, thank you. We'll have you come
Thank you.
back at 1, thank you.
Thank you very
Kenzo
much.
Meless,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Kenzo
Very much.
Meless. He can appear by phone too if he wants. Kenzo Meless.
Your Honor, I'm just gonna ask that the court can make a PC determination at this point. He was arrested on the 18th.
Yeah, any objection to an ROR? I mean, he's in
I-
jail on a criminal mischief with a $100
I
bond.
understand, Your Honor. My concern is the no victim contact order. If it was if it was like, you know, a canvas or a trespass or theft or disorderly conduct even, I would say no problem, but. And it appears they may even reside together also, so that's why it's even more important. It also mentions he refused to accept a restraining order, so.
I'd like to just transfer this to Lerner Wren.
I don't have an objection to that.
Says he's a Haitian general. But I can't do a no contact order, so unless we get word to Judge Wren, but it's up to the public defender.
I can make a note, and if the court does transfer it, I'll advise the court,
Mr. Reedy? Mr. Reedy, your position?
I mean, I don't know. I've never had a chance to speak with him. I don't know if he has any particular issues that.
Well, it says in the probable cause affidavit,
Your Honor, if I may, at this point in time, if they can schedule him to see Judge Lerner Wren tomorrow, then he'll appear in front of her. And if he needs help or assistance, he'll be in front of her. He's gonna, you know, if he's a med reset, then he's not gonna appear in front of you or her. If we're just talking about resetting for tomorrow and he would happen to see her tomorrow, I don't see what the
he says he
harm would be.
he intentionally broke the sliding glass door because he was hungry, angry, and is a Haitian general. That should be respected. I mean, maybe he is a Haitian general, but
Maybe he is.
I mean,
All right, Judge.
and I'm not being facetious.
No,
I'm
no,
just
I understand what you're
saying. I
saying.
don't know.
I guess in the abundance of caution, it wouldn't be a bad idea to send him to Judge
I mean, if
Lerner
not,
Wren.
Judge Wren can send
I'll-
it to a regular division.
And I'll advise, her Jay that it's been a medical reset since the 18th and that a no victim contact order has not been issued as of yet.
Okay.
All of them are done.
All right, so you're gonna, I hear someone, I don't know if it's North Broward, Paul Ryan, or Conti. So you're gonna waive his presence, court's gonna find probable cause?
I will.
All right, and we're gonna transfer to Judge Wren.
Here, I get some cuffs.
Then draw. Sorry, Your Honor.
No, that's okay, I want you to know we can hear you, so. Okay, so the public defender waives presence, transfer to Judge Wren. Okay, I put a note on here. All right, so Ted, do you have something you wanted to tell us?
No, he's the next guy. We have the next guy, but he's a medical reset.
Ted Letwinski?
Yes.
All right, so just write reset appear in today's date. Okay, Lonnie Durham? Is that North Broward or Maine? Okay.
Maine.
All right, are you Mr. Durham, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you have one count of grand theft between $300 and $5,000. $1,000 bond, counts 2, 3, and 4 of the same. Petty theft, second degree, third subsequent offense, $750 bond on each one. Count 5 is not for magistrate. You have a capious felony, no bond hold. And count 6, you also have a capious felony, which is for magistrate, which you have a no bond hold. Court does find probable cause. Court is going to order no return, sir, to the shell at 4701 State Road. It says 834. I'm assuming it's State Road 84. Coconut Creek. No, it's State Road 834. Coconut Creek, Florida. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, the defense would just ask to leave the standard bonds in place.
Okay. Yeah, he no-showed at arraignment. Okay, sir, so no return to the shell, okay?
Okay.
All right, so court's gonna set bond at $999 on one, $749 on 2, 3, and 4 each. You do have a status hearing, sir, May 29th at 8:30, Division FF, which is Judge Ernest Cholera. Thank you, sir, good luck to you. Jalen Juwan Smith, please. Come on up, sir, and then after that is gonna be Travis Lofton. Mr. Smith, you have grand theft, 5,000 or more, but less than 10,000. You have a no bond hold. There's an affidavit to arrest. Court does find probable cause. This is theft from a company. You're to have, sir, no contact with MA Amazon. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not to return to their business location.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, Mr. Smith only has one prior, that was loitering in 2012. That being said, based on the amount of the property that's was taken allegedly, and it actually states the total loss appears to be over
$6,000.
Well, no, that's from the
$20,000.
2 days. The total loss seems to be in excess of $20,000.
Correct.
It appears this might be an ongoing investigation. But in light of his lack of a criminal history, I am going to be asking for a bond of $2,500.
Defense?
Judge, Mr. Smith, hold on one second. Judge, we'd be consider $1,000. He's right now working in landscaping. He makes about $80 a day. He lives with his mother. His mother, that's who he's going to be contacting. He believes his mother her brother. His brother can afford definitely the $1,000 bond. May be able to afford the $2,500, not for sure. But Judge, that's why we'd be asking you for a $1,000 bond.
Says address 349 Northwest 18th Court, Pompano Beach.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right, court's gonna set $1,000 bond, but because of the amount allegedly taken, court's gonna put him on standard pretrial release. He has to report within 24 hours. Thank you, good luck to you. Next one is Travis Lofton, please. Travis Lofton. Then after Mr. Lofton is Celestine.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I'm gonna be asking to reset this matter for 1 o'clock.
why?
Your Honor, I spoke with Detective England, who's assigned to the case. He's gonna be appearing before the court, to provide testimony, additional, evidence.
All right, reset for 1 PM. Thank you, sir. Next one is Edison Celestine and then Michael Koch. Mr. Celestine, come on up. And then next is Michael Koch. And then we
Michael Koch,
have
bond
Antonio
has been
Davis.
Michael,
Pardon?
Michael
gotten
Koch,
theirs.
bond has been posted.
Okay, so bond has posted. I don't hear these bond posted. Edison Celestine, where is he?
Just did him, Judge. Remember, that's the gentleman that you
No, I thought
recalled
I
for the
had, give me that
afternoon.
one.
You recalled for the afternoon, he had private counsel, I believe, Lawrence Wolk.
No. Travis Lofton is the one that I'm resetting for this afternoon.
And Celestine is a PM reset also. Somehow he
Gallon,
got called out of.
Smith, I have the one we just did. Where's the one that I wrote Attorney Wolk on?
Wait a minute, let me see.
Oh, you know why? They have 2 of them they gave me. So we have 2 of them, Madam Clerk. Huh? I'm talking about Edison Celestine. Thought I was going crazy.
There's
Is there something wrong?
4, go back.
No,
There's, Your Honor.
just like I said, you already did him.
I did.
there-
He's
They
a
gave me
PM
2
reset.
sheets today. I can't remember everybody's name. Antonio Davis.
Is, believe a medical reset, Judge. Yes, he is, medical reset.
Okay, medical reset. Ihor Kavasha.
Mr. Kavash is here present, main judge, he declined the services of public defense.
All right, sir. Do you have a private attorney?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. He is charged with a serious crime, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you. So please don't talk about the facts of your case. Today is only to determine probable cause and to determine any release conditions, okay? So we have you, sir, charged with, it's, as I said, the aggravated assault. State, what are you gonna be requesting for bond?
Your Honor, based on the allegations, the alleged use of a firearm, I'm requesting a $15,000 bond, order of no victim contact with an additional release condition that Mr. Kavasha not be in possession of any firearms, weapons, or ammunition until further order of the court.
Okay, what is the alleged victim's initials?
EB.
Okay, sir. You are to have no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in the case with the initials EB, Echo Bravo. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that means no contact whatsoever, sir. Court does find probable cause. They're asking for a $15,000 bond, sir. Can you afford that?
I don't know. To be honest with you.
All right, sir, you're to have no firearms, ammunition, or weapons. And if you do possess any, when you're released, you're to surrender them immediately to your local police department. Who's gonna be posting your bond?
I have no clue. I haven't contacted my parents or my brother.
Do you
I
know
haven't
their
contacted-
number?
Yes, ma'am.
You know by heart, or do you need to access your phone?
I
can't
have it
use-
written down, but I know my mom's phone number by heart.
Okay. Do you own any property, sir? Tell me what you do for a living.
I work for Copy Scan Technology.
Copy scan?
Yes.
How much do you make, sir?
An hour?
For a week, normally.
Probably like $500 a week.
Do you have any assets?
No, ma'am.
Do you own a car? How do you get to work?
I drive on my mom's car.
You don't have your own car?
No.
Does your mother have the money to bond you out?
I don't know.
All right, this is what the court's gonna do. No victim contact, direct or indirect. No firearms, ammunition, or weapons, sir. If you have any, when you get released, you're to surrender them immediately to your local police department. Court is gonna put a GPS level 2. Court's gonna set bond to $10,000. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Tyrek Johnson, please.
I've been advised medical reset on Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
Funny how things work out, Brian.
Charles Edward Jackson.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, and then we have Ernest Lionel Clark after him.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Jackson, good morning, sir. You have a
Good morning, ma'am.
violation of parole. You have a no bond hold, so the parole board will be coming to talk to you soon, okay, sir?
That's the only charge, ma'am?
That's all I have.
Thank
Why do you think there's something, well, you can tell Mr. Romero.
Yes. Yes.
Ernest Lionel Clark, please.
Mr. Clark, come on up, please.
And then we have Marvin Washington. Hey, Mr. Clark, good afternoon, sir. You have a grand theft between $300 and $5,000. Court does find probable cause. Is there something you wanted to say, State?
Well, Your Honor, I'm gonna be asking for a bond to be raised to $5,000. I do
Okay.
have a great concern for the property in the community with regards to Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark was arrested on the 15th, a week ago, for a grand theft at a Kohl's store. He was alleged to have taken $560, just under $560 worth of merchandise.
Was one of them sunglasses?
One
Out of curiosity? This one's
yeah, no, I
Sunglass
know.
Hut.
Yeah. 14 Under Armour golf shirts. I don't know if there was anything additional. Your Honor, additionally, in 2017, he had a grand theft. He was sentenced to a year and a day state prison as a habitual offender. He was just released from state prison January 18th of this year.
For what?
Grand theft. And then, as you know, as you already stated, the property sold in this case with a total value of just over $1,500. I just have concerns that I don't have much confidence that he's gonna not commit more thefts upon
Court
his
has a
release.
concern as well. All right, sir, court does find probable cause you're not to return to the Sunglass Hut at 4431 Lyons Road, Coconut Creek, Florida. Go ahead, Mr. Romero.
Judge, I do understand the state's concerns. That's why I'm gonna ask you at this time just to, leave the standard bond in place. Normally, I would be asking you to reduce it, but in this case, I'm gonna be asking you to, leave it alone. He's right now unemployed. He's looking for employment. He's 56 years old. He's living with his mother. That's who, he gave me the phone number of his mom for me to contact, and that's who I'm gonna be contacting after court. My understanding, she's not employed. She's on Social Security on a fixed income. That's who helped post his last prior offense, Judge. In reading the PC affidavit, I believe Mr. Clark cooperated. He gave a full confession. So therefore, based on that, Judge, I'm going to ask you to leave the standard bond in place of $1,000 on Mr. Clark's behalf, Judge.
And just so you can appreciate the totality of the issues here, I only provided the court with his most recent Broward priors. He has a total of 32 prior felony convictions.
All right, $2,500 bond. Lives at 804 Northwest 39th Court, West Palm Beach.
Oh, no. 804 but no Northwest. It's 804 39th Court.
It's no northwest, north, southeast, none of that?
No, ma'am.
All right, court is gonna do a GPS open schedule. Thank you,
And
sir.
that's for the case he's out
$2,500
on as
bond.
well?
And Your Honor,
$2,500 bond,
the
yes.
state would be, because of his lengthy history of theft, and now within a
All
week.
right, I'll do it level 2.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And is that
Marvin
on
Darrell.
level 2 on the case that he's out on also, Judge?
I didn't do anything on that, no action. I wasn't asked to do anything, I didn't hear it.
I'm not, Your Honor, I'm not in a position to make formal requests if the court chooses
You're
not
the
to.
one that's telling me about it, I didn't even know, huh?
No,
I know
advice
the
he was
state
arrested a
actually
week
brought
ago,
up
Your
and was
Honor, and he's
bringing
out on
that up,
bond.
and I believe that's why.
If the court takes, obviously, it's within the court's discretion whether you choose to take any action to
Right,
sponte or
I'm
not.
not gonna take action, let somebody go to his division judge if they want to. Okay, Mr. Romero,
I know
you're
why
right.
it was mentioned.
Thank you.
Okay.
Marvin Darrell, Washington, please.
Mr. Washington, come on up, please.
All right, Mr. Washington, you have fleeing with disregard of safety to persons or property. We need to talk about bond. Court does find probable cause. State, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, I'm gonna be requesting, a $10,000 bond. I do have concerns about his future appearance in court based on the nature of the offense, including his criminal history. 2014 aggravated assault with a firearm and battery. He was sentenced to just under 38 months in Florida State Prison. He was released January 11th of this year. Dealing in stolen property, false ownership info on a pawn item in 2012. VOP, he received the same sentence. Resisting without violence, DWLS, no valid DL, leaving the scene of an accident, unlawful use of false name ID.
This says charge 1, and then I'm shown all these other charges.
Yes, Your Honor, this was a not in custody. The officer, when he prepared his not in custody probable cause affidavit, listed the offenses he felt that there was probable cause for. When it came time for the state to determine what charges to actually formally charge him with, by not in custody information, we only charged him with the fleeing with disregard of.
So does he have the possession of cannabis, destroying evidence?
No, just the one count before you, the second-degree felony fleeing.
All right, defense?
Judge, we're gonna be asking him for a $1,000 bond. He's 28 years old. He just obtained employment. He's working at KFC. He's making about $8.50 an hour. He lives in Fort Lauderdale with his girlfriend. Right now, his girlfriend is not working. She's looking for work, so he's right now maintaining the household with his income from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Right now, besides that, whenever he can, he has an informal arrangement with the child of his mother, and where he last month he was able to come up with $300 for child support. I don't know if he's going to be able to come up with it this month, but Judge, right now we're going to be asking for a $1,000 bond on Mr. Washington's behalf.
This is address 5404 Northwest 24th Court, Lauderhill.
No, ma'am.
What's your address, sir?
1900 Northwest 60th Ave, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 33313.
Okay, 1900 Northwest 60th Ave. Any apartment number?
No, ma'am.
Fort Lauderdale 33313, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, court's gonna set bond at $2,000, $2,500, I'm sorry,
Yes, Judge.
okay? Thank you. All right, Mr. Romero, come back.
And the other one bonded out.
Yes, Judge.
There's two Celestines.
The one with the misdemeanor bond.
Right.
They have two different first names,
But
so,
there's, right, but there's, I believe the first Celestine was on page
Page 10.
10, in which he bonded. I don't think his name was ever called. That was Rudy Celestine, and the other gentleman was on page 18, Edison Celestine.
okay, so can I see Rudy Celestine? That's page 10, you said?
He bonded.
All right, I'd like to see the paperwork.
Page
though.
10.
Huh? Yeah.
I don't think he had any. I thought because I didn't have any paper for him. I think he pulled it. Like he's out of custody.
You can just give me the whole thing, don't worry about it. I just wanna look at it, thank you so much.
Don't pray. Wait, Trees, wait.
All right, so Edison Celestine,
Yes, Judge.
why does this have an MM case on here, do you know? The Grand Theft Auto, how could that be? They said there's a Grand Theft Auto. All right, so we're gonna have to do clarification on Edison Celestine, because you told me it was a Grand Theft Auto, and that's what the confusion was, is because the other one has a Grand Theft Auto. This is the one, Sheila, that has the warrant VOP pretrials, which really aren't for magistrate. So, someone could clarify all of this. Go ahead, Mr. Romero, we'll figure it out.
Okay, no problem, Judge.
It's Grand Theft Auto.
Rudy bonded, can I see his paperwork? How did he bond? What did he bond on?
He had $100 bond on the misdemeanors. If it says Grand Theft Auto on Rudy Celestine there, then the findings have to
That's
be.
not what, okay. This is Edison you just gave me. This isn't Rudy. I need Rudy. Yeah, it says Edison. So I need Rudy.
Your Honor, just to let you know, they may not have the paper. We didn't have the paperwork because it got pulled because he
There's
pushed
two of them.
I know, Your Honor. Rudy Elliston. We did not get his paperwork because he bonded, and the clerk might not have it either.
So we have two Celestins in there that are both Edison.
I know, but it wasn't.
We'll figure it out. Go to lunch, Mr. Romero. We'll see you back.
Thank you, Judge.
You're
That's why I
welcome.
was looking for him, like, when he bonded.
All right, so we'll go offline.